Okay, so we're going to Donington tomorrow morning with the Polo. We've just finished dyno in the car. It's made 400 horsepower, 400 pounds-feet. We're running a Turbotechnics KR4 hybrid on there and basically a full Golf R spec, Mark 6 Golf R spec engine. We're going to take it to Donington. Dave Rowe from EPS Motorsport's coming with us. So we'll do some data acquisition when we're there to see how the car's performing, and we'll also we've got a customer going as well with his Golf R, which is it's a full track spec and Golf R cage and everything. We're also going to do the same with his car. He has a problem with his DSG box where it potentially is overheating, so we're going to get some data from that at the same time. But the car's all cleaned, ready to go, and then what we're going to do is we're going to shake the car down, see what happens, and then we'll bring the car back, put it on the ramp and make a list of anything that's a problem with the vehicle, and if we can then fix that, and then we'll revisit this and we'll go back to Donington again, same track, so we can just compare the two, and then we'll see if we can make the car any better. Okay, so we've come back from Donington. Had a good day, but there's a few things with the car that we've found. Halfway through a corner, the car feels like it's trying to track, so trying to move about, and when you're coming on and off the throttle, although it's got a diff in it, and the diff will cause the car to move, specifically it feels unstable in the corners. So we've come back, put it on the ramp, and found that it's got AST three-way dampers on this, which are a really good kit, but it looks like there's something wrong with both front dampers, because if you look here, it shouldn't do this. So obviously there's a huge amount of movement in that wheel. There's also movement side to side, like that as well. So I've had a look, the near side steering arm in a joint, the ball socket where it sits on a rack is worn, so that's going to need replacing. And both front dampers are going to have to come off because this one's the same. So see, that wheel's the same. So that was, to be honest, that was the only thing about the car all day. The car was fast. It didn't overheat, not that it should. but he just went round and round and round all day on the track. But we've obviously got this damper issue. So if I was to move this like that, actually we'll send the ramp up and then we'll have a look from underneath. If you look from underneath, basically here, where the tube of the damper sits in the outer casing, what's happening is that there's like what would be like a brass, potentially washer or a crush washer, and it's moving on that. So we're going to have to take the dampers off and send them back to AST, because obviously it shouldn't do that, number one. But number two, I don't want the damper to get damaged, because they're very, very expensive dampers on this car. So we've got to do that. Everything else, it's all been checked. It's all as it was. There's no oil leaks. So the car's perfect, apart from this, obviously, movement in the front suspension. So to tell you a little bit about the car, this was built by Powermax Racing. There was 3 cars built, I believe. So it was a guy called Bobby Thompson was the driver, and he won the championship in this car, the Volkswagen Racing Championship back in the day. So we purchased the car from a customer, and because he was selling it at the time, and I thought, you know what, it's such a good car, I'd really like to own it for a while. So spec-wise, we've got like 9 by 18 inch wheels all round, so big old wheels, 265 tyres on there. It's got the AP Racing Pro 5000 caliper disc kit on the front. It's got Mark V Golf aluminium front hubs. It's got extended ball joints on it as well, so it's got extensions for the lower ball joints. Different drive shafts. It's a 2-litre TFSI EA 113 engine. It's 400 horsepower, 400 pounds-feet. We run a Wagner front mount intercooler from a Mark V. The whole front of the car really is like Mark V radiator, Mark V Golf radiator, and boost pipe kit, etc. We run a Autotech high pressure fuel pump, KO4 injectors, so it's full basically Mark VI Golf R spec, but with a Turbotechnics hybrid. So we've got that little bit of extra air in there with the hybrid, so hence why we could do the 400 horsepower, 400 pounds-feet. It runs 1.6 bar flat, so we're not running big boost on it at the moment. The rear of the car has it's a stock Polo rear beam that's modified. So if you look underneath, we have this roll bar here, which is obviously not standard, and then it's strengthened, these strengthening plates here, to stop the wheel moving around with the extra grip. It's then got modified brackets and then billet extenders, so it's wider, and this is also 5x112 on the rear, whereas a Polo would be 5x100, so that's extended out. Different calipers and discs on the back from a Mark V, and the shell inside, obviously you'll see from if you're going to do some pictures of the shell, but the shell inside is very, it's very, very different. So all the floors modified, it's all seam welded everywhere with jacking points on it. It's a really heavily modified shell. So then you've got obviously the rear dampers are AST as well, but they're absolutely there's nothing wrong with those at the minute, so they're perfect. So all we've got to do is just the front dampers, and then that's it.